Coming up on the Suze Orman Show. Summer's over, so it's back to money. So I'm going to be talking about mistakes you cannot afford to make. Also, how much do you think you owe in consumer debt?
Oh, about $25,000.
$50,000.
$50,000? I had no idea it was that much.
And you asked me, can I afford it?
I want to buy a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
I want to take my little hands and go, oh, I love you. Hi, everybody. I'm Suze Orman, and you are watching The Suze Orman Show. Can you believe it? It is September. So back to school for many of you, back to work for many of you, and back to money for most of you, because you know and I know that during the summer, you kind of turn me off. You kind of say, I don't want to deal with her during the summer. I don't want to deal with money. It's my vacation time. It's time to relax. But welcome back, because we begin again. Now, here's the thing. Since we're learning about money all the time here on the Suze Orman Show, let's first start, given that we're back to money, with the mistakes that I see many of you are making. And you make these mistakes particularly when you're desperate for dollars, when you don't have enough money to pay your bills, you get desperate, and it's during that time that you make the biggest mistakes. What kind of mistakes? Mistakes such as payday loans. You should never do a payday loan. I don't have to tell you that on the Suze Orman Show. You're smart enough to know that, aren't you? But in case you're not, you are never, ever, ever to do a payday loan. Did you know that in most cases, payday loans are not dischargeable in bankruptcy because every 30 days they renew? And since they renew, if you go to claim bankruptcy, they're going to seem like it was a loan that you just took out, and they're not going to let you discharge it. A lot of you take loans from your 401k. That never, ever makes sense. Again, money in a 401k is absolutely protected from bankruptcy. It makes no sense to take a loan from a 401k, so don't make that mistake either. Also, don't make a mistake of being so desperate for money that if you have a condo or a home that you're going to rent out, that the first person that comes to rent it, that you say, oh, I'm so desperate, of course, here, take it, I'll rent it to you. Big mistake. Why? Because if that person isn't able to pay rent to you, now you're still going to be responsible for that mortgage payment with no income coming in. So the big mistake that you make is you don't check their FICO scores. You don't check their references. They look nice. They look sweet. So you believe them. Do not make that mistake. Check them out. And if anything doesn't look good, find somebody else. So many mistakes that you can make. So many things that can go wrong. But if you simply watch this show, tune in every Saturday night, I'm going to help you not only be more, but to have more. And I'm going to tell you the things that you need to know so you don't make any mistakes. Which brings me to my one-on-one guests tonight, Barbara and Ben. Now, I want all of you to watch closely, because you're going to see what happens when serious mistakes are made. Barbara is 53 and a meeting planner. Ben is 55 and a clinical social worker and therapist. They're coming to us from Washington, D.C. They have a 6-year-old daughter named Heather. Barbara says she's at her wit's end because Ben wants to buy what he wants, when he wants it, whether he has the money or not. Ben says Barbara is over-controlling, and he's not willing to live a bare-bones lifestyle. Ben, let's start with you. Why do you think Barbara wrote in to the Suze Orman Show and brought you here tonight?
Well, I think that we both are in a place now where we want to be better in control of our finances, and I haven't always been the best in doing that. So I just think she wants to part upon me some perspective so we can both be on the same page for our future.
And Barbara, you think, look at that look. Ben, did you just see the look she gave you?
Well
did
done.
You just see, Barbara, why did you give him that look?
Because I'm so glad that he sees why I came here.
Oh, no, I do. I do.
But you know, Barbara, he needs my help to hear it from me because this is something you've been telling him now since the day you married him, right?
Exactly.
All right, so Ben, in
Yes, ma'am.
order to help you here, I always say you have to know what you have so you know what you can spend. So I've created a little quiz just for you. It's called the
Okay.
Ben quiz. Ready? So
I'm ready.
what do you think between the two of you your take-home income is versus your monthly expenses? What do you think you both together take home after taxes?
After taxes?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. I'll just take it. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's somewhere around 120,000.
So $10,000 a month, right? You would be bringing home $10,000 a month. That's all right. If that's what you think, that's okay.
Yeah, no, maybe about five, maybe about 7.
Okay, about $7,000. What do you think your expenses are?
About 5.
About
550.
All
yeah.
right, $550. So the truth is, your income that you bring home is, you were right, $7,200 per month. You're doing great, Ben. But your expenses are $8,100 per month. Currently, you are spending $900 more per month than what you bring in. So you are in deficit $900 per month. Here you are in your mid-50s. Oh, he just looked at you. That was a little, what was that look about?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, that, I need to straighten up.
All right, there you go. All right. Wait, we're not done with this yet. You ready? Next,
Yeah.
what do you think your net worth is? If you were to total up everything that you have in retirement accounts and savings accounts, the equity in your home, how much do you think your net worth is?
Not much.
Right?
Not much. Maybe about 40,000, maybe.
You got that right, $35,000. You are in your mid-50s, and
not
you
good.
have a net worth of $35,000. Ben, if we were to total up all the computers and everything that you've purchased, do you think that maybe you would have more worth in computers than you have as a net worth as a couple?
Yes.
So if you want to know why your net worth is at more than $35,000, look in your bedroom, your office, and everything else. Now, all right, so now we know you have a net worth of $35,000. How much do you think you owe in consumer debt?
Oh, about 25,000.
Biz, buzz, wrong. $50,000.
50,000. I had no idea it was that much.
You have a home as well. How much equity do you think you have in the home?
Not in this market. I don't think we have much. I think we kind of took a hit.
Took a hit, but you have some equity in there, right?
I believe we have some in the home.
Biz, wrong. You're negative $70,000. You owe $70,000 more on this home than you could sell it for.
Reality check. We need to cut the spending and get back on track. And I realize that. I realize that.
Now, here's the scoop. Ben, while I get that you've been spending and you've been doing all this, and I could be mad at you, I'm not happy with you. The truth of the matter is, Barbara, I'm seriously angry at you. Because it's you, my dear Barbara, that have been letting your husband do things that you know he should not have done. Why do you let him buy a Mercedes when he can't afford a Mercedes? Why do you let him do these things and continually save him? Why do you want to allow him to be this image of something that he's not? Why?
How do I stop it? I can't stop a grown man from doing what he wants to do.
You most certainly can. Listen,
How?
I'll tell you how. Do you know the word no? you know, at night when maybe he wants some or whatever and you're not in the mood, you just say no, right?
I've said no.
You've said no that way, okay? Then we're talking money here. You say, no, I'm not going to sell the house. No, I'm not going to refinance. No, I'm not going to do this. And you have to start letting him see that you're not just going to let him go on. So the two of you here need to really come to grips with this.
If I can just interject, you know, I really want to just clarify a couple of things. I do spend funds, but I guess I'm not a spender. I am not the reason why we're in debt, okay? The reason why we're in debt is because of unexpected bills that we've accumulated, you know, throughout the years and things. Now, I will admit that I do spend funds that maybe could be applied to other things, but the bulk of the $35,000 debt or the $50,000 debt that we're in is not solely just for my fish tanks or my aquariums or my computer equipment or things like that. That's not the bulk of. That's not the main reason why we're in debt.
So here's my question then, Barbara, for you. Since you're the one who does the bills every month, you're the one who has been in control of money for every single day that you have been married, do you agree with what your husband just said?
No.
So
Not at all.
And I got to tell you, Ben, looking at your expenses and looking at how you live, sir, I have to disagree with you.
Okay.
And it's just, and here's the thing, you have to be willing to say to yourself what the truth is. But let's not care about the past anymore. We don't care about the past. We're standing here right now on the Suze Orman Show, and we want to ground ourselves in the truth of how we go forward. So here is the truth that I'm about to give you. If you were in your 30s, this would not be a big deal. But given that as I sit here with you, you have $1,400 in an emergency fund, that is it. If something went wrong, you don't have any money that's liquid that you can easily get at. You don't have enough money in retirement to really support you guys in the way that you're going to need to be supported. I have a house that's underwater, and I have right now 60% of your income is going to a home that is underwater. If you live long, and I hope you do, the truth of the matter is, and your expenses are going to increase as your daughter gets older and everything. I mean, it's going to be more expensive, not less expensive. That maybe together with Social Security, if Social Security even holds up, you're looking at $2,700 a month to live on.
It's not good.
Ben, you have some insurance on you, but not a whole lot by any means.
True.
So if anything happens to you, Barbara's going to be in real trouble here because her expenses are still going to be where they are today. So we have to make drastic actions and now pay for all of the past that we really could not afford. First, I am going to advise you to do a short sale on your home. And I think that you need to sell your home and move into an apartment.
I'm not happy with selling the house. I don't
But you
think
can't afford the house, Ben.
Well,
You can't afford the house. You're $900 a month short every month, which is why you keep going into credit card debt. And later, when wanting something, ask me, can I afford it?
I want to buy these beautiful, sparkly diamond carat earrings.
How are you going to pay for this?
Well, I was thinking maybe selling something else I had that I don't use.
Like what?
I have a Chanel bag.
We have to make drastic actions and now pay for all of the past that we really could not afford. First, I am going to advise you to do a short sale on your home. And I think that you need to sell your home and move into an apartment. Welcome back, everybody. All right, I've been talking with my one-on-one guests tonight, Barbara and Ben, and it's been difficult, I have to tell you. Ben, spends too much according to Barbara. Barbara controls him too much according to Ben. And I have just delivered some very hard news to them that I would like them to short sale their home that I am sure they both love. So you ready? Let's continue. I think this is a very important thing because number one, you cannot afford the home that you currently have. You also cannot afford to be driving the cars that you guys are driving, especially the Mercedes. That's too expensive of a car to have. So you have those cars, so that's where it is. But we need to cut back dramatically. How much do you think it would cost for you to rent an apartment in the area that you live?
I'm not sure. Maybe $2,000 a month.
All right, so if it's $2,000 a month, then we're saving $1,000 something a month. That is seriously important. Next, believe it or not, we do not have $800 a month to be sending your daughter to private school. So you should be renting in an area that has great public schools. If we can start saving that $2,500 a month, now all of a sudden you're only, rather than $900 a month in deficit, you're $1,000 a month in excess, which can go to do what? Pay down your debt that you have. As soon as you've paid down your debt, then we have more money to start saving for the future. But these are the things that you need to do. So the two of you need to stand in your truth together and say, the home that we currently have, even the cars that we have, these are pretenses because we cannot afford them. And we are out of time now to play and say, it'll be okay. I'll have time. Well, something will happen. I'll make up for it. At 53, at 55, we are out of time. We have about 15 years at most left. After that, things start to change in life. I know so. I'm sitting here and at 61, I'm telling you things can go wrong with the body. So how do you feel when I say that to you?
Thoughtful.
Uh-huh. Willing to look at it?
We have to look at it.
That's right. Ben, how do you feel about that?
Well, we'll talk about it, and you know, I'm not happy with selling the house. I don't
But you
think
can't
that.
afford the house, Ben.
Well,
You can't afford the house. You're $900 a month short every month, which is why you keep going into credit card debt. You are now in a situation where your debt is so high and you have to make payments on that debt that we are almost $1,000 a month from paying our bills.
yeah, well, you know, Susie, I can get a second job. You know, I mean, there's other means of making more funds that have come in.
But here's what you need to do. You need to sell the house and get a second job. I'm not kidding. That is how financially bad this situation is. You need to sell the house, rent an apartment, get honest with yourselves. If you can sell the car and get cheaper cars, you should do that. Get yourself out of credit card debt, have an emergency fund, and start saving for retirement. So I want you now to not only sell your home and rent an apartment, I want you to get a second job as well, Ben. As well. But what I've just said to you is the God-honest truth about your money. If you don't face what you've got going now, if you don't take what I have said seriously and do that, you're going to find yourself in big-time trouble. And one last thing, if you end up after the year 2013 starts having to sell this house and you have a short sale, you are going to be liable for the $70,000 or more that you owe the bank as ordinary income. So this isn't something that you can postpone and you can think about and see if it's okay. This is action that you need to take right now so that if you short sale the home, then you don't have to pay income taxes on that difference. This is an emergency situation. These are things that are not that hard to do if you're just willing to let go and stand in the truth of what you've created for yourselves and live a life that you can truly afford, your relationship with each other, your income that you make will go up, everything will turn around for you. But if you continue to live in financial fantasy land, you're going to one day wake up with the greatest financial nightmare of your life, and you did it to yourselves. Up next, you can't afford to miss. Can I afford it?
I want to buy a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
I want to take my little hands and go, oh, I love you. Also,
me and my partner want to take a trip to Southern Africa.
you know and I know that we have an 8-month emergency fund rule around here.
Yes, I know.
What do you want to buy?
Diamond earrings.
Take a trip to Southern Africa.
Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the Can I Afford It segment. This is where you call in. You tell me what it is you want to buy. And oh, yes, I tell you if you can afford it or not. Are you ready? Let's begin. Griselda, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I want to buy these beautiful, sparkly diamond carat earrings.
For $3,000, you want to buy diamond earrings. How come?
Well, that's a good reason. I'll tell you why. Because not only are they're gorgeous, I think I'll look just great in them, but I think it'll, in this economy, I think the gold and diamonds, they'll hold its value, and you never know. I think if I had to,
Are you
could
telling
resell
me
them.
that you think if you spend $3,000 on these earrings, that somewhere down the road you're going to be able to sell them for $3,000 or more?
Possibly. Gold
Have you
keeps going up.
ever sold a piece of jewelry?
Not really. Well, maybe once.
Once,
but,
and didn't you get hit by 50 to 70%?
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess so. All right, show me this great investment. Show
Okay.
me the money. This
Okay.
great investment. All right, go for it.
All right. So our take home is about $5,000 a month,
Uh-huh.
and our total expenses includes $48.43,
Yeah.
which includes savings, $200 of savings, and $1,300 a month for rent.
Yeah.
And the only debt we have is our car, which is $9,500 a month at 3%. And our total savings is $50,000 liquid and $84,000 in retirement.
All right, and you're 40 years of age, not 20, not 30. How are you going to pay for this?
Cash.
Cash from your
Cash.
savings account.
Partly from
Well, where's
savings.
the other
yes.
money going to come from?
Well, I was thinking maybe selling something else I had that I don't use.
Like what?
I have a Chanel bag, and I don't use that. And that Chanel bag keeps going up and up.
Uh-huh. And how much did you pay for that Chanel bag?
About $1,400, and now it's up to about $3,500 to $4,000.
So you think if you sold it used, you'd be able to get $4,000 for it?
Maybe $3,500 or so.
And why would somebody buy a used bag from you when they could buy a new bag directly from Chanel?
Well, Chanel keeps going up, and then with tax, and mine's practically new, and I don't know, something about carrying a bag that's almost that much money that it's just not me anymore.
Oh, it's just
so.
not you anymore. All right, there you go. This one's easy. Obviously. No, wait, you have the 8-month emergency fund. You have that money. So if you ask me and you want to go and spend $3,000 on a pair of earrings, you have been denied. Oh, and the
Really?
reason that you're denied is that you really don't have enough money at your age in retirement. It's not
okay.
just about your emergency money, it's where are you in terms of the future to generate the income that you're going to need, and you are so far behind on retirement, I can't even tell you. Do not buy these
Really?
earrings. Here's what you need to do. Just
Okay.
go to QVC and buy Diamond. Really. Mitch, what do you want to buy?
Hey, Susie, it's great to talk to you.
Thanks, Mitch. Boyfriend, what do you want to buy?
So me and my partner want to take a trip to Southern Africa.
I love Southern Africa. We all know that. Go on.
I hear you have a house there.
I do have a house there. If you're nice to me, I might let you stay there.
That would be awesome. I'll follow up with you on
If
that.
I approve you, but you got to have the money to go, Mitch, so show me the money.
There you go. Okay, so I have income of $14,875 a month.
That's great, Mitch.
$12,675 of that is my take-home pay, and I get about $2,200 in rental income.
Yeah.
My expenses are $14,675.
Isn't it amazing? You make all this money and you spend it all. You make,
You know,
you
when
spend.
I was doing the prep for this, it blew my mind how much goes out the door every month.
Yeah,
So,
amazing.
my debt, I have about $400,000 on a 15-year fixed on my primary residence at 3.25. I have about $265 on my rental on a 15-year fixed at 3.88, and we have about $2,800 left on a car loan. And then my liquid savings is $66K. I have about $1 million in investments and a little over $1 million in retirement.
And so, but you know and I know that we have an 8-month emergency fund rule around here. You're not even
Yes, I
close to an
know.
8-month emergency fund. And you have a car loan debt at 7.49% interest. Why don't you just pay that off with some of the money that you have liquid? But anyway, are you still going to love me if I deny you?
Of course I will. I love you to death, girlfriend.
All right then, boyfriend, prepare yourself for this one because you have been approved.
Yay!
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, just very quickly, because I know all of you are wondering, well, he didn't have an 8-month emergency fund. Yeah, but he has $1.1 million in investments that he could easily do it. He's at the right age. Oh, go for it, my dear Mitch. All right, Ariel, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I love you and I love your show.
Thank you.
I want to buy a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
Let me take, oh, is that the cutest little puppy you ever saw? I want to take my little hands and go, oh, I love you. Anyway.
I know.
I know, so show me the money.
Okay. Let's see. For income, I have $3,400 a month in take home.
Yeah.
My expenses are $2,600 roughly, and that's $755 a month in rent.
Yeah.
I have $29,000 in the car loan at 5.3%.
Yeah.
I have $19,000 in student loans at 4.13%. For savings, I have $23,000 in liquid and $5,000 in my retirement.
So again, you have enough in liquid emergency savings to just simply buy this dog, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't planning on taking it from that. I was going to save up a month because I have to wait for the puppy to be born. So I was just going to try to save up each month of my paycheck.
I got it. So since that's how you're going to do it, you have been denied. Listen to me
really?
closely here. I know this dog is cute. There are millions of dogs that are in shelters that are really just as cute, but you have student loan debt. You have car loan debt. Any money, and once you get a dog like this, if something happens to this dog, you're going to spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 fixing it. So you know, if it gets ill, so sweetheart, you just can't afford it at this point in time. But that doesn't mean that you can't get a dog for free and give a good doggy a home. All right, Scott, what do you want to buy?
My wife and I want to go to Spain and France to celebrate our anniversary.
All right, let me take a look at this. $8,000 to go to France and Spain. Well, I guess if there was a time to want to go over to Europe, now is the time, don't you think? Right.
Yeah,
So
good
anyway,
exchange right now.
all right, so show me the money.
We combined take home $76.51.
Yep.
Our expenses are $76.03, $29.46 of which is the savings.
Again, everybody, take a note. Money coming in, money going out, money coming in, money going out. Okay, go on.
The only debt we're carrying right now is $175,000, 30-year fixed, and a $17,000 car loan, but at 0%.
Yeah.
Our savings are $83K liquid and $139 retirement.
And you want to take this money from where?
We're going to take it from our liquid.
Yeah, so I'm not even going to play with this one. This one's really simply, you have been approved, boyfriend, because you are doing great. You're fully funding your retirement accounts. You're doing everything the way that you should be doing it. I hope you have a great time. Want to be part of Can I Afford It? All you have to do is go to my website, SuzeOrman.com, and you will find the information that you need to know there to come and play with me right here. Next, I tackle trending topics in Ask Susie.
We're thinking about doing a short sale, but is that the right and, I guess, most ethical thing to do?
Are you that ethical that if you sell it for what it's worth, you're willing to come up with $200,000 approximately to pay the bank?
Probably not, no.
Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show. Guess where we are, everybody? Can you tell? We're in the control room here at CNBC headquarters. So many ways for you to be part of the Suze Orman Show. You can email me, join me on Twitter, become a fan of Facebook, or if you put hashtag AskSuze, it will come right here into the control room and we pick it. Guess what? I'm going to be answering on air. It's Vicky Z. Well, consolidating my private student loans decrease and permanently set my interest rate, currently variable interest. Guess what, Vicky Z? This is Suze O telling you you can't consolidate private student loans. You can't do much with private student loans. Private student loans won't even allow you to do income-based repayment. I do not like private student loans. I know you have them, so the best bet is just pay them down as fast as you possibly can. Let's go to webcam. Bill in California, ask me your question.
Hi, Susie. My wife and I bought our condo in 2007, and when we did that, we did everything supposedly the right way. We put 20% down, we bought a place we could afford, and got a fixed rate mortgage. And now 5 years later, we've come to find out that our $464,000 condo is now worth just over $200,000. So that wouldn't be a big deal, but now we're at a place where we want to pick up and move to Nebraska, where I grew up, to be closer to my parents and to start a family of our own. So I guess the question is, we're thinking about doing a short sale, but is that the right and, I guess, most ethical thing to do when we're not actually suffering a financial hardship?
Well, here's the thing. If you need to sell your home, your condo, are you that ethical that if you sell it for what it's worth, you're willing to come up with $200,000 approximately to pay the bank?
Probably not.
I don't think so. And you probably don't even have that $200,000 to come up with to pay the bank. What happened to your real estate is no fault of your own. Bill, you did everything the right way, as you said. Now, due to no fault of your own, never missing a mortgage payment, being the most ethical guy out there, really, if you think about it, now you want to move. So now you have to do what everybody else is doing. You have to do a short sale because that is what the condo is worth. Now, hopefully your bank will allow you to do that without missing any payments, because even though they say they're allowing it, good luck. So check it out, see if you can do it ethically that way. And if not, then you're going to have to miss quite a few payments, because either way, when you do a short sale, it is going to affect your FICO score. It just is. So if they won't let you do a short sale because you're up to date on payments, then you're going to have to stop making payments until they allow you to do a short sale. And one more thing, Bill, which is why it's important that you do this sooner than later. Listen, if you owe $400,000 on this mortgage, you sell it for $200,000 right now. The difference between what you owe and you sell it for, that $200,000, because it's your primary residency, is going to be forgiven starting in 2013. That is just a few months away. Listen to me closely. Unless they change the laws, that $200,000 difference is going to be taxable to you as ordinary income. Are you kidding me, everybody? All right, let's go back to the studio and see what's coming up next. Kelly asked me, Susie,
how are we doing? We had a rough beginning with some poor financial decisions. Our goal is to be able to save for our daughter's college and retire by age 67.
You're not doing enough. You could be doing things a little bit better, just a little bit. Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show.
Hi, Susie. I'm 32 years old and my husband is 35. We had a rough beginning with some poor financial decisions that included a foreclosure on a rental property, but with your advice, we turned our finances around. Our goal is to be able to save for our daughter's college and retire by age 67. Susie, how are we doing?
Hey, Kelly, how are you?
I'm doing great, Susie. Thank you.
Oh, so first of all, I love that because you've been watching the show that you've turned your situation around. Now, I have my paperwork, your paperwork, I should say, in front of me. And before we look at the numbers, if you were going to give yourself a grade as to how you think you are doing to be able to retire later on, what would you give yourself?
I think a B minus.
A B minus. And before I go on, what do you think you could be doing better?
I think the emergency fund, could be a little bit higher. And I think that was the biggest thing I thought you might have a concern with.
All right, so let's see. Let's show everybody your numbers. So here we are. We have Kelly, 32, Chris, 35, and currently they have $47,000 approximately in retirement, $25,000 in an emergency fund, about $1,300 in investments. Their current home value is $218,000, and they have about a $200,000 mortgage on it. We also have $21,000, almost $22,000 of student loan debt. So their net worth, as we sit here, is $67,681. Now, Kelly, does that surprise you?
No, that's about what I thought it was.
That is what you thought it was. All right, great, because what's important when you're coming on How Am I Doing, you need to know what you have to know how you're doing. So I love that you knew that. Now let's look at income versus expenses. Okay, so we have good income here. We have take home of about $5,500 a month. Your monthly expenses are $3,600 a month. You're saving $516 a month towards the emergency funds and everything else. So you have in excess $1,350 per month. Are you aware of that?
That seems a little higher than I thought it was, but that sounds great.
So if you look at the numbers that you gave us, and if those numbers are true, you should have an excess of $1,350 per month. Now, I want you to keep that number in mind. If I was going to give you a grade, I would give you a B, because you're not doing enough. You would be okay if you just kept things as they are, but you could be doing things a little bit better, just a little bit. So here is your way to an A. We already established that you have $1,350 excess every month. This is what I want you to do with that excess. The very first thing I want you to do is to do what? I want you to take $416 of that and open up every single month, contribute to a Roth IRA for Chris. You have one, but he does not. So that's going to be the very first thing that you do. Next, you're going to take $250 from that excess and increase your 529 contribution by $250, because currently you're only putting $100 a month into it. That is not enough to be able to pay for college education in 15, 16, 17 years from now. Next, I want you to take $500 a month, and I want you to put that towards the student loan that is at 7% interest. And I want you to get rid of that student loan as fast as possible. After you've done that, you currently have money in an old employer's retirement plan. I want you to do an IRA rollover with that money and little by little convert it to a Roth IRA. So really, in the long run, it's growing tax-free versus tax-deferred. And last but not least, as soon as you possibly can, I want you to refinance your house. Your mortgage payment, the interest rate is a little bit too high. Hopefully you'll be able to build up some equity in that home so that you can refinance and hopefully do it at a 15 or 20-year fixed rate mortgage period. Do not extend out further than that. If you do everything that I have just told you to do, girlfriend, you are going to have a great retirement. Up next, one more thing that I want you to know. You can postpone, and you can postpone, and you can postpone dealing with the reality of your financial situation. But there is going to come a day where that reality smacks you in the face. Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show. Well, that almost brings us to a wrap of the Suze Orman Show. But before we go, oh yes, there's still one more thing I want you to know. So here I sit, and I tell you what I think you should know. Now, sometimes the stuff that I tell you, it's not really easy for me to deliver information to you that you don't want to hear. Like our one-on-one guest tonight. It wasn't easy for me to say that they had to short sale their house, they had to get rid of their cars, they needed a second job, but it needed to be done. The big mistakes that we make in life is that we don't want to tell people the truth. We feel like, I don't want to deliver that news to them, and we just let them suffer and suffer and suffer until it's too late. Listen to me, everybody. You can postpone, and you can postpone, and you can postpone dealing with the reality of your financial situation. But there is going to come a day where that reality smacks you in the face. And then even Suze Orman isn't going to be able to help you. Can't you just stand in the truth now? Can't you just look at your situation and decide to change? And for those of you who are in a marriage, you're in a partnership, you're living together, and you're blaming the other person as the reason why you're in debt, you don't have money, you don't have retirement, It takes two. If you're two in a relationship, then it takes both of you to have gotten in that situation. One may be spending the money, but the other most likely is letting it happen. So you both need to be honest and truthful with each other as well. That is what the show is all about, to tell you what you need to hear, things that others are just too afraid to tell you. Now you know. So until next week, there's the only really one thing that I want you to remember when it comes to your money, and it is this: people first, then money, then things. Now you stay safe and honest.